Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
On an ice-cold night in Detroit, we have a red-hot pitching matchup with a pair of aces on the mound. Former Cy Young Award winners Corey Kluber and Justin Verlander square off in what figures to be a pitcher's duel. But the last time these two tussled in Cleveland, they allowed 15 runs. Justin Verlander hasn't won a game since opening day, and the Tribe has beaten him 22 times in his 12-year career. We'll see if the Indians can tame the Tiger Ace once again. Next on Sports Time Ohio. It will be a frosty evening in the Motor City. Indians-Tigers Game 2 of their 4-game series. Indians trying to bounce back tonight and even things up. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. And after a lackluster performance last night, no better guy to have on the mound than Corey Kluber. He's the ace of the staff, and he's got a pretty good track record against Detroit.
And he's trending in the right direction. He's won his last 3 starts. And for Corey Kluber, it all started against the Tigers back in Cleveland. His offense was very kind to him. Then he comes back and throws a shutout against the White Sox on 3 hits, and he beats Houston in his last start. So you can see a 3.63 ERA, and he's here, and the Indians need him to step up tonight because he will be facing Justin Verlander, who's going the other way. He won his opening day start and has not won a game since. In his last 4 starts, the Indians scored 9 earned runs, a career high on him the last time he was in Cleveland. So I think they're in his head. He's going to have to try to find a way to get the Indians hitters out. He hasn't been able to do it. Just 1-8 in his last 13 starts against the Indians.
He says he can't wait to get back out there to prove to himself and to his teammates that he can still get the job done. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be back with tonight's first pitch. Plus, we'll check in with Andre Knott on tonight's big story. It's all straight ahead. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution. As we ready for tonight's ball game, it's going to be extremely chilly. Game time temperature will be in the 40s, and as you can see there, pretty good breeze will keep things even cooler here at the ball yard tonight. Let's head downstairs right now to Andre Knott for more on tonight's matchup between the Indians and one Justin Verlander.
Thanks, Matt. You know, the big story coming into this game, obviously, is the Indians hitters versus Justin Verlander. Back on April 15th, back at home at Progressive Field, 3 home runs were hit off of the ace for the Detroit Tigers. It started off with Jose Ramirez hitting a pitch high in the strike zone out to right field. It continued after that with Carlos Santana hitting a bomb off of Verlander, and it ended that same ending with Lonnie Chisenhall hitting a bomb off of him as well. For Verlander, he gave up a career-high 9 runs, and talking to the guys within the clubhouse, Francisco Lindor told it to me best. He says, look, we respect everything there is about Justin Verlander, but we see him enough and we're around him enough that we get pumped up and we get fired up. I heard Rick say this earlier, that he made the guys in this dugout may be in his head a little bit. That may be possible, but the one thing a couple hitters told me, Justin Verlander throws a lot of strikes, whether it's off speed, whether it's fastball, he's always in the strike zone. That keeps the guys in this order aggressive against him, and they plan on being aggressive against him again tonight.
You know, and when you look at some of those pitches that he's throwing, they're middle, you know, down the middle of the plate, and guys put good swings on them, and they're hitting them out. I think for Verlander, he wants to get this lineup out so bad. He won't walk him. He doesn't really knock him off the plate, as a lot of starters may, and so they've had success, and they feel good in the batter's box when he's pitching.
We'll be back with tonight's first pitch between Cleveland and Detroit coming up next. Justin Verlander. Deep right field, Lonnie Chisenhall says goodbye. And the Indians have taken Verlander deep 3 times in 3 innings. It has been a familiar theme when the Indians face Justin Verlander, touching him up for a lot of runs. They've beaten him more times than anybody else in his storied career here in the Motor City. Let's take a look at the Indians starting lineup tonight. It's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. For Terry Francona tonight, Carlos Santana will lead it off, followed by Francisco Lindor. Michael Brantley was 0 for 2 last night, but he walked twice. He'll hit third. Edwin Encarnacion hitting cleanup. Jose Ramirez is 5th. Jason Kipnis is back in the lineup hitting 6th, as is Lonnie Chisenhall, who's in center field. Abe Almonte in right batting 8th, and Yan Gomes behind the dish will bat 9th.
And our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Tigers tonight, Justin Verlander, making his 50th career start against the Indians. Career record 19-22. We've already heard what he did the last time out, a career-high 9 runs against the Indians. So he, I'm sure, has worked on his game to come back and try and get a little revenge against the Tribe in his home park, and we'll see how that goes shortly. We can check out the defense, brought to you by Wendy's. Behind Verlander tonight, it'll be Upton in left. Collins is in center, Aducci in right. It'll be Castellanos at third. And it'll be Romine at short. Kinsler is at second. Cabrera is at first. Avila behind the plate.
Chris Guccione will be behind the plate. Carlos Torres at first base. Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, at second. Paul Nart is your third base umpire. And with that, we are ready to go. Carlos Santana. He'll lead it off. He was 1 for 5 last night in the series opener.
And Detroit, one of those teams that moves their third baseman over to the right side of the infield.
Now the line on the pitch is low and away to Santana. Verlander with a 1-0, and that's down in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. 47 degrees, our game time temperature. Breeze very similar to last night in that at least it appears that it's blowing out toward left center field. We'll see how it plays when we have a ball or two hit in the air tonight. The 2-0. And Santana taking in for a strike. You know, I looked at something before the ball game. There are only 6 hitters in Major League Baseball who have seen more shifts defensively against them than Carlos Santana.
Yeah, it's almost every team shifts on him, no question.
Lines this one over the top of the shift and off the glove of Kinsler. I got to imagine that'll be a hit. Kinsler going back, not an easy play. He did get leather on it, but he couldn't bring it in.
Well, he's not an infielder now. He was playing the outfield there. And that's a line drive, and it was sinking. Kinsler going to break back, but basically right now he is an outfielder, and it goes off the end of the glove, so that's got to be a base hit. That ball hit hard right off the tip of it. So Santana starts this game off with a single.
Well, let's see if that gets the Indians sparked. I mentioned it last night. You know, it seems to be a different offense when that leadoff man gets aboard.
Get some action rolling early.
And not many, if any, throw over to first base more times than Justin Verlander.
Yeah, he throws over, I think, more than anybody.
Lindor had a big hack at a fastball, but comes up empty.
He came right at him. Fastball right there, had a pitch to hit, and he fouled it off. Yeah, this is where the Indians would like to get an early lead in this ball game. They were down 5-0 by the second inning last night in tough conditions.
Before tonight, what has he thrown over there twice?
Yes.
Since the start of last year, he's thrown to first base now 298 times. Nobody in baseball and has thrown over to first more than Justin Verlander.
I remember we talked about that a couple of years ago where he was throwing over more than anyone, where Lester would not throw to first base. He'd just go straight to the plate as far as a pickoff move. He's afraid to throw it anywhere.
Since the start of last year, he's basically thrown 3 complete games just by throwing over to first base.
Amongst those 100 pitches plus he throws.
Lindor shoots one toward left center, but Collins, the center fielder, grabs it as it hung in the air, and that's out number 1. Storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. We'll see if the Indians can execute against Justin Verlander and continue their trend of success. And the Tribe's left-handed hitting lineup. That's the one that really has done the most damage for them this year.
Yeah. And the execution there with Verlander, it's about executing his pitches. A lot of the times, you know, people say, well, he's tipping his pitches, or they may have my pitches. He's got to hit better locations instead of too much of the plate.
Michael Brantley pops it sky high. Foul territory, back to the screen. But Avila cannot get to it. Brantley took a couple of walks last night. Basically, early in the game, the left-hander Daniel Norris was trying to attack Brantley up and up out of the strike zone. Michael wasn't biting. Verlander goes down and in. And it's 1-1.
Brantley, a .284 hitter in his career against Verlander, 19 for 67 coming into today's game.
There's a line drive single into right field. Santana will stop at second. And the Indians have 2 hits out of the first 3 batters to start the game.
There you go, a nice stroke, and there it is, a pitch that stays up a little bit. It looked like it might have been a little two-seamer. Out over the plate, Brantley kept his hands back, lines it into right field. So they have 2 men aboard now for Encarnacion.
You know, Andre mentioned it, Rick, that, you know, when he talked to some of the Indians hitters, the one thing they said, he throws a lot of strikes. So you have to be in aggressive mode when you dig in against him.
He's like Kluber. That's why these 2 guys are aces. They're aggressive. They get ahead of the hitters, and they have the kind of stuff that they can put you away. And that pitch that Brantley hit, I got a chance to see it. It was a changeup.
Now, since the All-Star break last year, Verlander has thrown almost 68% of his pitches for strikes, and the league average is 63%.
Right.
So he's way above that in terms of, you know.
He had a beautiful year last year. Led the league in strikeouts with 254. The 4th time he's done that. 16-9 record, a 3.04 ERA. He had a really a good year, and he's 34 years old. That's as many strikeouts since Randy Johnson had 290 at that age.
Encarnacion pops it up on the infield. Infield fly rule in effect, 2 down. Well, I think Verlander would be the first to admit that, you know, it's one thing to throw a lot of strikes, but what he and Corey Kluber in particular specialize in is throwing quality strikes. You know, if you're hitting your spots on both sides of the plate, that's one thing. But when you're throwing pitches in the heart of the plate, they may be strikes, but they're also in hit zone, the nitro zone.
Hitters let you know.
Yeah. Now here's Jose Ramirez with 2 on and 2 out. Little low, ball 1. Ramirez trying to snap an 0 for 7 at the plate. He's been very good hitting with runners in scoring position. Uncharacteristically, last night, he struck out in his first 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position, both times to end an inning. Nobody's going to bat 1,000, but he's a guy you just expect to put the ball in play because he's been such a tough guy to strike out. It was rare to see last night. He just couldn't do it.
Well, he does it so often, you expect him to do it every time.
Just a bit outside. It's 3-0 with Jason Kipnis.
I'll tell you what, you can see Verlander, he's not getting aggressive and throwing good strikes. He's, in a way, it looks like pitching around Ramirez because Kipnis is on deck and Jason hasn't been swinging the bat that well, and I'm sure he knows that in his scouting report.
Upstairs, never really came close.
He did not want any part of Jose right there.
But he walks the bases loaded now. And Jason Kipnis has a chance to deliver an early blow for the Tribe.
Indians with an opportunity right here to get him thinking again in the very first inning.
Inside, ball one.
That's a pitch that he's added to his others that he throws, is that little cutter inside. He has a good curveball, has the changeup, a two-seamer. He's got all the pitches.
Nails the outside part of the plate with a good fastball to even it up at 1-1.
Reaching back a little bit right there for 96.
Jason's only grand slam came almost 5 years ago against Minnesota. It was on June the 1st of 2012. And now Kipnis steps away as Verlander was taking a little too much time.
Well, you can see back there Avila shaking his head. They're not on the same page.
Santana's at third, Brantley's at second, Ramirez at first. Man,
Yeah,
this is,
it's time to talk. Well, he does not want to give up anything right here, so he's going to make sure he throws the pitch that he wants to throw. And it doesn't look like Avila was calling the one that he wants unless he wants a different location. That's the best thing to do. Go talk about it.
A year ago, this was how the Indians caused so many problems for Detroit. It was scoring early.
First inning, putting him down.
The 1-1. Pumped the fastball by him to get ahead in the count now.
Check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. He's going to go right there. He wants that ball away, and Kipnis couldn't catch up to it. You know, the Indians have scored 20 runs in the first inning this year. The only other inning they've scored more is the 9th, where they've scored 22.
Foul back, stays alive. You know, in some ways that makes a lot of sense, though, when you think when starting pitchers usually have problems, sometimes it's right out of the gate first inning, and that's when your best hitters are coming up. The Indians have definitely made Verlander work hard here in this first inning. This will be pitch number 21 as he continues to struggle to get on the same page with Avila.
A lot like last night, 10 balls, 10 strikes. A lot of the pitchers had tough times early throwing strikes.
The 1-2. In the dirt, spiked it, gets away. Coming home to score is Santana, and the Indians will take a 1-0 lead on the wild pitch.
Second wild pitch for Verlander, and that's the first curveball that he tried to throw tonight, and he bounced it. And they bounced it at the wrong time. It's a tough play for Avila. You see, he spikes that one down into the dirt out in front of the plate, and Avila said the backhand. And that's a tough play we talk about a lot where catchers, it's a do or die play. It gets by him. Santana scores, so the wild pitch will give the Indians a lead.
Now the 2-2 to Kipnis. He tried to hold up, but he went around on a ball that buried down and in on him. The Indians with a run here in the first on the wild pitch. And now the Tigers come to bat against Corey Kluber. manager Brad Ausmus, brought to you by Hankook Tires. Ian Kinsler leading it off. Nick Castellanos batting second. Miguel Cabrera, back from the disabled list, just activated this afternoon and hitting third. Victor Martinez, Justin Upton, Tyler Collins in the middle. Alex Avila, Jim Adduci, and Andrew Romine rounded out.
Kluber making his 6th start this year.
Against Detroit, though, last year he made 3 starts and was a perfect 3-0 with a 2.25 earned run average. First ball swinging. Kinsler drives it over Brantley's head and hits right at the base of the wall, and he'll stroll into second base with a leadoff double. Well, what did we say about guys being aggressive mindset right from the first pitch?
Well, you have to be ready, and Kinsler always is. And that's a fastball right there, a little two-seamer it looked like, that went to the inside part of the plate, and Kinsler was ready for it. Hit it to the base of the wall, and that'll be his 3rd double of the year. So back come the Tigers with their leadoff man aboard. It's only his 7th hit off Corey and 37 at bats, so he hasn't. Kinsler hadn't had a lot of success against him, but he didn't let him get ahead.
Down low. 1 ball, no strikes. Nick Castellanos, 2 for 5 last night. He had a double, an RBI, a run scored. He stole a base. He was a good catalyst near the top of the lineup for the Tigers. Down low, 2-0.
Looking at Corey's numbers, the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. 3-1 record. He's won his last 3 starts. 37 strikeouts in 34 1/3. And had a season high 10 strikeouts in his last start.
Line on 1 bounce to Kipnis. Oh, he almost had Kinsler stuck in no man's land. Kinsler did well just to get back to second base. And there's out number 1.
I think when that ball was hit, if he didn't run, you see, he sort of froze. He wasn't sure it was a line drive, and then he was going to wait for Kip to just flip it over there, but he paid attention to him, so he had to run him back to second, and you get the out at first, and he couldn't advance him. So good job.
Well, back from the DL, here is Miguel Cabrera. Normally, a guy misses time to the disabled list. You figure there might be sort of a readjustment period, but not with this guy. Kluber delivers, up and away, ball 1. You just figure he'll step right back in and pick up where he left off.
Well, he usually does. This guy was born to hit. He's only hitting .440 off Kluber in his career, 22 for 50.
Swung out and missed. Nice pitch by Corey. Now, he throws his fastball just a little better than 50% of the time. But then when you try to break down his off-speed pitches, that's where it gets a little dicey, because guys who chart his pitches, it is difficult to tell sometimes the difference between what might be a cutter and what might be a hard slider.
Right. And it depends on the game, because it depends on how he feels out there. He didn't make him stop. He caught a break. He timed Klub's going to the plate right there and had third base stolen. You watch, you never make him stop out there. He gets it, jump, and you don't make him stop, he'll take off. But he fouled it off, so he's got to go back.
And now Cabrera down on the count 1-2. Hit pretty well. Deep right. Back is Almonte, and he goes to his knees but makes the catch. Tagging and going to third is Kinsler, but now there are 2 down. Well, that tells you what the wind, I guess, is doing out there.
Yeah, it knocked it down, didn't it? It sort of fooled him. I don't know if he really, but you can see he says that ball knocked down, and once he realized he slipped on that track right at the cut of the grass and the warning track. Took a nice little divot, but he was able to catch the ball. So that wind really pushed that one down.
Either that or it just might be, hey, when that guy's up there and he swings, you just figure, well, he's probably hit it hard.
Exactly.
So get deep first and then break in on it. 2 away for Victor Martinez. 3 hits last night, including a double, a run scored, and a run batted in.
And his first career bunt hit. Let's check that Indians defense, brought to you by Ram behind Kluber tonight. Brantley, Chisenhall, Almonte in the outfield. Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, Santana on the infield with Gomes catching.
You notice not only do they not have an exotic shift, they don't have any shift on for Martinez here. Both Lindor and Ramirez stay to the left side of the infield. Ground ball in the hole. Kipnis can't get it. Tigers tie the game.
How about that? 2-out base hit and he's starting to warm it up a little bit. He gets enough of it.
Now maybe if they do have that shift on.
Oh, it's out. Automatic.
Because Kipnis would have been out there on the grass.
Yes, he would have been. He slapped it down, his hand down in the ground, but he beat him that way too. So they come back, they tie the score at 1.
And so a 2-out base runner for Justin Upton. Kia in the driver's seat. Justin Upton against Corey Kluber. 5 out of 12 with 3 homers.
And a couple of doubles.
And 5 strikeouts.
Yep.
Inside, pushed him back. Way outside, 3-0. Tyler Collins, left-handed batter, waits on deck. At the knees, outside corner. What you call a perfect pitch. It's 3-1.
Get a look at it. It looks you're either going to make the perfect pitch or you're going to walk him. And that was right down on the knees on the corner.
And that pitch just off the, or just beyond the end of the swing of Upton.
Almost pretty much the same pitch he just
Yeah.
threw 3-0.
See if he stays right out there again. Came back on the dish a little more, but it's fouled out of play.
Yeah, this one, watch it comes back. This has a pretty good chunk of the plate here. Got away with one there.
Victor Martinez at first with 2 down. He's running. Strike 3 called. Inning over. Kluber gets his first strikeout. But the Tigers even the score. 1-1 after an inning.
TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is back in better than ever. You can watch out-of-market game live at home, in the office, or on the go for just $19.99. Visit MLB TV for the details.
Justin Verlander goes to work here in the second inning. Lonnie Chisenhall to lead it off for Cleveland. Then it's Abraham Almonte and Yan Gomes. Fastball for a strike. Verlander uses his fastball just about 60% of the time, a little less than that. The pitch he uses the most after his fastball is the slider, followed very closely by that big curveball and then the changeup.
And now he's incorporated a cutter as well.
High with it. 2-1.
But for the years that the Indians have faced him, we've seen him a number of times where they tried earlier to get him up to that 100 pitch count before 5 innings, and we've seen it a lot.
High pop-up foul, and Avila gives it a look once again, but no chance. 2-2. Yeah, in his last start, Verlander pushed his way through 7 innings, but it took him almost 120 pitches to get there.
Yeah. It was a good start against Seattle. He gave up a run, but it was an unearned run. But still has not won since opening day.
Swung out and missed. High fastball got him. Second strikeout for Verlander. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. If you look at Verlander's career numbers against the Indians, hope we can get that score graphic out of there. It's a little easier to see. But the losses, 22 losses. I mean, I know, yeah, he's made more starts against them than anybody else, but still, that's far and away the most losses he has against anybody.
This is one of the best in the business, folks. He's a closet full of hardware, and he's been a good pitcher for a long time. His 12th season.
The White Sox have gotten him for the next highest number of losses in his career. That's 13. So 22 is the most. The next closest is 13.
Yeah.
And nobody else has beaten him in double figures. So what the Indians have been able to do against him is pretty impressive.
Oh, Felix Hernandez. Texas has beaten him 23 times, huh? Holy smokes. Well, against divisional foes, you know, you got a better read on them. Teams that have never faced him before or only face him maybe once a year. That's a tough act.
I tell you, the team that really hates to see him coming around the corner, the Kansas City Royals. He's gone 22-9 in his career against KC. .3-0 count for Almonte, taking all the way. It's in there. A batting .298, as you see there. He entered the game late last night as a pinch runner when Austin Jackson had to leave the game. He hyperextended his big toe, and so they put him on the 10-day disabled list before the game today. Tribe called up an extra arm for the bullpen, so Sean Armstrong is now with the team out there in the pen. I guess in a lot of ways it's kind of good news for Austin Jackson, because you fear that it maybe had something to do with the knee surgery he had a year ago.
Right. That's what we first thought.
And it didn't. So that was really good to hear. Now the 3-2, and he strikes it out. 3 in a row for Verlander, 2 down on the inning. go down to Andre with more on Austin Jackson.
Well, as you talk about the Austin Jackson injury that occurred last night in that big toe, he had the same injury last year, guys, before he had the knee surgery. So that's kind of some of the concern the Indians had. He tried to play through it last year, then the knee injury occurred. They're not saying that they both play in together, but because that happened the way it did last year, they want to be as precautious as they possibly can with this injury for him.
Yeah, you can now when you look down, you see him.
It's almost like turf toe.
Yeah.
You know, when your toe goes all the way back to the foot almost.
Yan Gomes takes. That's in for a strike. There isn't, I don't know that there's a worse description for an injury in sports than turf toe. Because that makes it sound like it's no big deal. Oh, you turf toe. How bad can that be, right?
Well, until it happens
bad.
to you.
It's really bad. I think most of us don't quite appreciate the big toe until you break it or you can't use it. You can't walk, you can't balance,
you can't do
run.
anything.
Yeah. Up and away.
Yeah, in a game where it's all legs and you're on your feet,
and you have to plant and run hard, or
that
make
can
a
put
cut.
you out for a long time. That could linger all year.
Swung out and missed. It's 2-2. Well, you know, JD Martinez is dealing with a mid-foot sprain. And I think right now he's dealing with that issue of trying to plant hard and make those cuts when you're an outfielder.
Running the bases, cuts, turns.
Popped him up. Shallow center. Kinsler says he'll take it. The second baseman makes the grab. Indians go 1-2-3. 1-1 middle of the second.
And conveniently manage your tickets and enter Progressive Field. Plus, you can unlock special offers from presenting partner KeyBank and more. Skip lines by gaining access to our mobile-only gates. Just visit Indians.com to learn more.
Tyler Collins going to lead off for Detroit here in the second. And a pitch for a strike from Corey Kluber. He dealt the I guess knockout blow, if you will, last night to Trevor Bauer when he hit that 3-run homer to right center field. That made it I think that made it 5-0.
It did
at that time.
Yeah, at the second inning. Yes, it did.
Swung out and missed. He strikes him out. That didn't take long. Corey Kluber has his second strikeout tonight.
Good slider. You watch him. Watch the late break to this thing, and you swing over the top. You see it right there. You commit, and the thing just falls out. Late break. Good pitch. So Corey now with 2 strikeouts in a row.
He comes with a breaking ball over the outside corner. And so we've seen back-to-back, you know, he has the pitch before was more that sharp, straight down movement. That pitch there to Avila was more the get me over slower slurve, slow curve type pitch. Corey has the ability to adjust, you know, pitch to pitch, and whether it's, you know, adding and subtracting with his breaking ball, with his fastball, cutting it.
They're like different pitches when you can do that. Although they're really not. It's just a variation of the speed.
And I think, you know, it's something you and I have talked a lot about. We mentioned yesterday, I think it was, you know, video. And you know, there's nothing left of the imagination. There's no mystery left. But if you're Corey Kluber and you can subtly change one pitch and vary it, well, then you keep guys guessing a little bit. What was that? Was that a slider? Was it a
from
cutter?
at-bat to at-bat.
I don't know. It did move this way. It did this, you know. And
yeah, the only one that can tell is the one that's sitting in the batter's box.
Bingo. And so maybe that's Corey's way of trying to stay one step ahead of technology today. Well, I'll just vary it a little bit. I won't really tell anybody exactly what it is.
Add and subtract.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Keep them guessing. 2-2. Hit pretty well deep left. Brantley back. It's over his head and it's hit off the wall. He's got a great arm throwing it to second, and Avila can't even get past first.
Well done out there in left field by Brantley. I'll tell you, this guy is swinging it so far this year. Avila hit a 2-2 pitch over Brantley's head, but Michael played it beautifully off the wall to hold him to a single. That one just eked out over the plate, and he looks to shoot it that way now. He's not in any pull mode whatsoever. But Michael gets it in and fired a seed, and had he gone, he would have been a dead duck.
I don't know if we have a good side angle of that swing before. You can see he's keeping his head back behind the ball, behind the swing every time.
Staying behind it. And that little base hit where he got to drive in too, he jammed himself, but he's flaring everything the other way. That's what he did in his rookie year when he was at his finest, is go alley to alley, and he has a little pop in that bat going the other way.
Jim Adducci 0 for 4 last night. Back out of play.
Check it out. You see him stay behind it. Just like that. That's a picture perfect swing right there. And that pitch was away, and he drove it there. A lot of times you get up and you lose your power and you pop it up, or you don't hit it with authority.
Weekly tap to second.
Only get one.
Only play at first.
Boy, that was close.
And it ended up close at second because Avila wasn't sure what really happened. And as he went down there to second base, Santana whirled and fired it back to Lindor, and they almost caught him.
You know, I thought that ball almost hit him, but I think he was trying to block it for Kipnis. But he was past it, and he wasn't going to get tagged. There it is. That almost close. Yeah, it was. I thought it almost nicked him. If that would have been the case, he was out, but he just barely got there. They're going to take a look at it and see what happened.
They want to make sure the ball didn't hit him.
I think Tito wants to ask the umpire if he was out of the baseline.
No challenge. And 2 down. Runner at second base.
See, it just barely got by it. He was on the inside in the grass. Not too bad.
Tell you what, on that second look, I didn't realize how far in he really went. Andrew Romine with 2 down and a runner in scoring position. Lines one to left, base hit. Tigers take the lead. It's in the alley. Brantley cuts it off. Heading to second is Romine. The throw, not in time. Romine with his 5th double, his 6th run batted in. And the clutch hit for the Tigers puts them in front.
Well, a couple of 2-out base hits, and the Tigers are on the board. And there's that first one. He gave him a little swinging room, and he plugs the gap in left center field. So they have they're 4 for 9 first time through the lineup off Corey Kluber with a couple of doubles and a couple of singles. So that play right there with him getting to second base, it wasn't hit hard enough where Kipnis could get it and tag him, pays dividends for the Tigers.
Kinsler half swing, evens the count 1-1. Just about a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio for Corey Kluber. Gets ahead 1-2.
Well, after you throw that slider and you chase it, then he darts the outside corner with a fastball. I think you end up as a hitter, you think he's going to come back and throw it again, but he made a perfect pitch with his fastball.
Gives a look to Romine, who's not too far off the bag there at second. Nobody really bird dogging him to keep him that close. With 2 down, he's going to be off with the crack of the bat, and that pitch got him looking. So Corey Kluber ends up with his 3rd strikeout of the night, but the Tigers get a 2-out RBI hit and take a 2-to-1 lead. Carlos Santana has taken Justin Verlander deep 8 times. The Hall of Famer to be Jim Thome right behind him.
And how about Victor's on the board? He's been teammates with him for a while.
Pitch outside, ball 1. Santana singled, came around to score the Indians' lone run in the first on a wild pitch.
Like a little change up there.
Missed downstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Pop back and into the seats. And we're even up at 2-2. Once again, the Tigers have the big 3-man shift for Santana. Out of play.
Great time to send out a very special birthday wish to Ethel Peckman, turning 100 years old today from Parma, Ohio. Ethel, happy birthday to you. And a happy birthday to Rose Smith, big Indians fan from Amherst, Ohio. Happy birthday, Rose.
Now the 2-2. Hit him?
That, yeah, I think it did.
No, I guess he got out of the way.
Unless that one ended up getting a feel and bouncing back. Well, he had to dance. Back foot. Oh, he did get out of the way, and it came off the mask of Avila out front. That's the second time he spiked the breaking ball down there. That's how they scored their run in the first inning. But he came back with that same pitch after he bounced it to Kipnis to get the strikeout. See what he throws to Santana here. I don't think it's going to be a fastball.
Down and in, ball 4.
Well, it's not too late to get a prorated 2017 Tribe season ticket package for the best seats at the best prices with the best perks. You save big over single game prices, getting access to the summer season ticket autograph party and plenty more. Visit Indians.com for the details.
Francisco Lindor fly to center. And that ball's down and in. You know, Rick, you mentioned what you thought Verlander would go to, and he tried to throw that slider again. And he missed, and it just made me think. I read this earlier. Coming into tonight, Verlander had 30 strikeouts. Only 4 of those 30 came on that slider. But I think he did get one earlier, the Kipnis.
Yes, he came back with it down and in after he bounced it. But right now, he's having a tough time getting a feel for it. But he's not giving up on it. He's still trying it. I think he's sick of throwing some of these guys fastballs. And there's one right there that Lindor rakes. Foul. You know, he's changing his game plan against these guys than he normally does. Is what he has to do. I'm sure he's worked on something in his side session, just getting ready for this start.
Well, when you've got 4 days between starts, you do have a lot of time to think things over.
Oh, well, I'm sure he's gone through this lineup in his head many times, trying to find a way.
Lindor shoots it the other way, but foul.
Because, you know, think about this. As good as he is, in his last 13 starts, he's only beat him 1 time, and he's lost 8 times.
Yeah.
You know, so there's games in there. So he's got to be thinking, man, that's why you're thinking they know what I'm throwing. That I'm either tipping my pitches or I'm doing something wrong. So that's why I think they're in their head when an opponent can go out there and beat you. When you're as good as he is, that's something it's not very easy to do.
You probably go back and look, am I falling into some predictable pattern that I didn't realize?
But your catcher shouldn't let you. Your pitching coaches, they know every pitch you're throwing and the sequences you're going through. I mean, somebody would be able to tell him that. It's just when you get between the lines, he's such a competitor. You don't see him brushing back the hitters that, hit him well. He's driven to try and strike him out and get him out.
The 1-2. And I've never gotten the feeling that he's approached this in a disrespectful way.
By no means.
To the extent of like, oh, well, there's got to be something wrong because these guys can't beat me that many times.
No,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But he's probably thinking, now, wait a minute. Somewhere along the line, I got to beat these guys once in a while. When you lose 13 out of 14 or you don't win more than 1 out of 13 starts, you got to start thinking, all right, where am I gone wrong?
And you've got a good offense behind you every time you're going out there, too. You'd think maybe they'd outslug him one time.
Lindor cannot catch up to that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but if you look at the location, this is a tough pitch to hit, and that's 4 strikeouts now for Verlander.
Elevated a little bit. See, it's just above the belt. That's tough for left-handers to get the barrel head of that bat out in front because it's got enough juice on it at 96 to get it by you. And this is a guy that can change and dial it up when he needs to. He could probably throw a little harder than that if he wanted to. You see him when guys get in scoring position. He can reach back and get what he needs.
Santana stretched out with the dive back to first. Michael Brantley lined a single to right field his first time up.
There's a nice curveball.
Really slowed it down. Two-1 Tigers lead it as Brantley steps out. We're in the third. Cool and a bit breezy here in Detroit tonight. We're expecting the temperature to warm up a little bit tomorrow, maybe up into the 60s. The 0-1 popped him up. Shallow left. Out goes Romine. In is Upton. Upton, the left fielder, has it. 2 away. Well, here's the slider that we were mentioning earlier.
This is the one he came back with after he threw the wild pitch and he got the check swing. And then he's going to get Chisenhall. That one hung, but it was at the top of the zone. And he got away with it. Sometimes you can foul that off, but he swung through it.
Just interesting because in my mind, you think, boy, a slider with his kind of stuff should be his go-to pitch for strikeouts.
Yeah, but they're facing a lot of lefties. So it's coming down and into them. So you better make good pitches with him. That's why he's bouncing it. He's not going to leave it over the plate, or at least try not to.
Yeah. Almost more of a chase pitch then.
He's got better pitches he can go with them. Exactly right. When you get ahead, you try to get him to chase that pitch as opposed to unless you got very good control with it that day.
Edwin Encarnacion with 2 down and a runner aboard. There's a long fly ball. Deep left. Back is Upton on the track and makes the catch. Couple of strides shy of the wall. So Encarnacion comes up just short, and the Indians trail 2-1 middle of the third. in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Bottom of the third here at Comerica Park. Nick Castellanos will lead it off. Grounded out his only time up in the first. Line to center, base hit. Tigers get their leadoff man aboard. And that's 5 hits for the Tigers.
Yep. Leadoff man aboard 2 out of the first 3 innings. Didn't hit this ball all that hard, but there's that stroke. He likes to go to the center of the field like most of their right-handed hitters do. You know, that same approach that Cabrera puts on the ball. It's a great approach when you watch these guys take batting practice, because that's what they do, man. They wear out the opposite field.
I almost think it's a combination of having someone to follow like Cabrera in terms of visualizing what you want to do, and secondly, this ballpark. It lends itself to staying on the ball because the gaps are so big here.
This is a triples ballpark, yes, and you're right. The ball carries better to right field than it does. It's a monster center field at 420, but there's a lot of space out there to get base hits and doubles.
Fouled right back by Cabrera, and it's 1-1. Yeah, it really pays to have a fleet-footed center fielder here, because if you can cut off those balls in the right center field gap, that's critical. If you can't,
they're triples.
Then yeah, they're triples, and a lot of runs score. Ripped, foul, third base side.
No, that's one of the pitches you see. He tries to shoot it that way, but if you go inside, he's quick enough to pull it, and he did right there, and he pulled it foul.
Mentioned before, Cabrera was on the DL with a groin injury that occurred right after they left Cleveland when they were in Minnesota. The 1-2, but it was in Cleveland in the final game of that series when he came out of the game.
That was our back.
Yeah. Two to left. Back is Brantley. To the wall. It's gone.
Watch how he pulls his hands in on this swing. And this guy's just coming in off the disablest, his second at bat, so they have scored in 3 straight innings. And you don't think this guy means something to the lineup?
Encarnacion hits one to the warning track. Cabrera hits one over the wall, and what a huge swing in this ball game. It's now 4-1 Tigers.
Watch the quickness in those hands come in. See how quick they were, and he just opened up those hips, and he's so strong. And that's going to be his 4th home run. Give him 2 more RBIs. He has 11 on the year, but it's a 4-1 lead now.
7 home runs allowed by Kluber on the year. And this is 6th start of the season. Victor Martinez slowly wraps one back to the mound. 1 away. Well, we talked about it quite a bit right before we left town. Home runs are up for the 2nd year in a row, at least early in the season. And so, you know, you look at Kluber, you look at anybody and say, wow, it seems like a lot of home runs. I think you could say that about a lot of people because there have been a lot of home runs hit.
Yes, there have. And today is a day where you don't think it's carrying. It's a chilly night. It's not a night that the ball's carrying. Let's say that. We saw his first one. Maybe he made an adjustment, Cabrera, because the first at bat he flew out to right field. Remember that ball died on Almonte? He says, well, I'm not going to go that way. Maybe I'll go to left field today and I'll turn on it.
The 1-0. Tribe finds themselves down 3 now. Here in inning number 3. Out of play. 2-2.
This is one of those days you can see all your defenders out there with their hand in their pockets to try and keep them warm in case anything is hit their way.
I wonder how many of them have those the hand warmer packs in that pocket.
Andre might know that.
Huh. Andre may have all the packets in his pockets. Hot pockets. Kluber into the line in the 2-2. Low and away, full count. Tyler Collins waiting on deck. And he walks it. First free pass issued by Kluber. Indians Tigers continue the series tomorrow night. Alan Jensen will start our telecast coverage with Indians Live right here at Comerica Park at 6:30. First pitch at 7 right here on Sports Time Ohio, or it streams live on Fox Sports Go. Off the foot of Collins. And a quick strike for Kluber. Yankees tattooing Toronto early, 6-0 in New York. They're in the 4th. Yankees a game back of Baltimore in the AL East. New York's lost their last 2. Baltimore has won 2 straight. Toronto has won 3 in a row. As they try to right the ship, but a long way to go. Runner goes. Swing on a. I guess he foul tipped it right.
He did, but he caught it.
I couldn't tell from back here behind the plate if maybe that ball deflected somewhere else, but
no, it went right into the glove. He just couldn't transfer it. See, he didn't get it where he normally would catch that ball, and he didn't get a good grip on it, so he decides to just hold it, which was probably wise. So it's a stolen base for Upton.
And a 1-out base runner in scoring position for Collins now, though he's in the hole 0-2. And Kluber strikes him out with a good pitch. Down and in, swung right over the top.
You can see what the Tigers are trying to do. They're trying to get aggressive now that they have a 3-run lead. They're stealing bases.
Injury report tonight brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. Told you about Austin Jackson earlier, and this road trip will conclude with the Indians heading north to take on the Blue Jays. Aaron Sanchez, one of their starters, split his fingernail on his pitching finger. That's probably going to leave a mark.
Well, but would he pitch 1 inning or so? 2 innings? A little over 1, and he had to come out of the game after coming off the DL, so it hasn't been a good year for him.
Alex Avila with a very awkward looking swing. Strike one. Justin Upton at second base. Boston leading Baltimore at Fenway 2-0 there in the 5th inning of that game. Red Sox just a game over 500. Broken bat bouncer, perfectly placed. And it's going to be 5-1 Detroit. And that's the kind of year it's been for Alex Avila, who came in hitting 400 on the year, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. And now has a run batted in.
Yeah,
and another 2-out RBI hit for Detroit. They're second in as many innings.
Yeah, they're third of the game, and that stolen base pays dividends, even though he hit it off the end of the bat. Finds the hole. Umpire had the closest play to it, but he got out of the way.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. Three straight innings.
Yeah.
They've had a 2-out RBI hit. Now comes Mickey Callaway.
This guy is a pretty good year right there so far. We're in game number 5.
Seven hits for Detroit. Off Kluber here with 2 down in the 3rd inning. Jim Adducci, the batter. And a strike over the outside corner. Weekly tap to Kipnis. That'll end the inning. But Detroit puts a crooked number on the board. They've scored in every inning. They score 3 in the 3rd and lead it 5-1. Fourth inning. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for Cleveland. Last year, the Indians took it to Detroit early and often. And so far in the early going this year, it's been the exact opposite.
Well, yeah, the Tigers They have already 3 wins against the Indians out of the first 4 games. They win tonight, they'll win as many games already as they did last year. So they got to get some action rolling here offensively.
Now the 1-1. Jose pops it up. Out goes Kinsler. I remember, though, it was just a few years ago when the Indians had a great single season against the White Sox, and then the very next year, Chicago
turned the table.
Yeah, they turned the tables on. One away with Jason Kipnis coming to the plate. I guess that's why. Look, unless one team is truly a dominant club and the other team is just really a cellar dweller, doormat type, you're not going to continue to dominate somebody. You might have a year where, hey, everything, the stars align, you just happen to play
everything
well.
Goes your way.
Yeah, but it's tough to sustain that over a period of a few years. And this is a division that we've talked about it a lot, that Sean Armstrong getting up already in the Cleveland pen. This is a division that is generally very competitive top to bottom.
Yeah, 4 of the teams are separated by 1 game, with Cleveland, Chicago, Minnesota back up there. They're 12-11. You know, nobody gave them hope. They got up to a slow start, but they've turned it around.
And Jason Kipnis fouls it back. 2-1 to count.
Look, when you beat up a team like the Indians did last year, that team's ready for you the next year. They're saying, all right, we had enough. They got their breaks. It's a different year.
Now the 2-1. Jason with a liner to right. 2 down. All new Tribe Report presented by GMC tonight following the game. Highlights of the past week. Jensen will talk mechanics with Carlos Carrasco. GMC Indians plays of the week. It's all coming up live after the ball game right here on Sports Time Ohio. Lonnie Chisenhall struck out in his first time up. Hit in the air pretty well to center, but Tyler Collins runs it down just shy of the warning track, and the Indians go 1, 2, 3, 6 straight retired by Verlander.
guys to go vote at Indians.com/vote. Go vote for my teammates, Brantley, Hosey, Kippy, everybody. Go vote for every one of my teammates. They want your vote. Take care, guys.
All-star voting has begun, and you can do it online at Indians.com. Right now, the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Corey Kluber, his night comes to a very abrupt halt. Only 3 innings tonight, and Terry Francona gives him the hook after 55 pitches. Sean Armstrong coming in. Arch, it's easy to say, okay, maybe Klubs didn't have it tonight, but curious about the early hook. You'll wonder if everything's okay.
Well, that's the one thing that you would think about. Something maybe that nobody knows about. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But it is strange.
In the meantime, Sean Armstrong just called up today to take the roster spot of Austin Jackson when he was placed on the 10-day disabled list. And Andrew Romine leading off. Certainly not the start that Terry Francona was hoping for here tonight. Or last night, for that matter.
Romine getting the start today at short. He had a big 2-out base hit in the second inning to drive in their second run. Well, they did it last night. They had a 5-0 lead after 2. Today it is 5-1 after 3.
Down low, it's 2-2. Out of play. Oh, that took the ricochet out the coconut.
I would think it might be hard for some of these folks to get up out of their seats if they're trying to go after a ball. They're all bundled up.
Way outside. And a pop-up foul, but out of play, just over the top of the dugout. And the count remains 3-2. I guess it was in the stars that Andrew Romine would once play for the Tigers, because he was born in Winter Haven, Florida, just down the road from Lakeland.
Yeah.
Tigers still
so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about the only team around there now in that area, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the way I understand
Because,
it. Ball 4. The Astros, I think they've left Kissimmee.
Yes.
The Indians, the Royals, the Reds used to be in Plant City once upon a time. There were a lot of teams congregated right there in Central Florida. I'm not so sure the Braves are even hanging around Disney anymore.
No, they're not.
They're
gone.
Yeah.
I think they got into a new facility too.
Yeah, so
they may have some long road trips.
Yeah, but they just put a ton of money in the last few years, I think, to their facility in Lakeland. So I think they're in it for the long haul. Throw to first by Armstrong. Romine wasn't that far off the bag. And Ian Kinsler doubled and scored in the first. Called out on strikes in the second inning. Back up the middle. Kind of a slow motion ground ball, and the Indians turn it into a double play.
You're right, it was. It was a jam shot. Kipnis stayed with it and gave him the quick foot to Lindor, and they were able to turn it. Now they may look at this and see if he beat it out because Kinsler is staying right at first base. And I think they do want him to check. But he was called out. You see, it was a slow motion, and Lindor had to turn, and boy, he was. Don't know if he got the foot down. We'll have to look at a different angle, but it was awfully close.
This is really, really close, and I think he beats it.
I think, yeah, I think you're right. There's the stretch. It's coming. Here comes the foot. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking they're going to overturn that. It was close.
It was, I mean,
it's just the reason why it wasn't turned is because it wasn't hit hard enough, really.
Interesting that they've got Terry Francona out, conferring with him.
Are they looking at something else on their end?
We'll be the last to know.
I don't know about the slide going into second base on Lindor. That's the only other thing that the Indians could be talking about. Yeah, I think he may be safe.
Again, the whole thing with the throw at first, one thing you do have to keep in mind is once the ball enters the glove, doesn't have to hit the back of the glove, it just enters the glove. Once the ball enters the mitt, that is considered possession. So that might make this a little tougher to call than maybe we originally thought. You know, for the guy back there in replay command who's breaking this down frame by frame. You know, technically, when does the ball enter the glove with relationship to his foot getting to the bag? And this gets back to what we've heard from people about the spirit of the rule of replay. Let's take a real close look. Foot's off the bag, off the bag. I think he's on it, though. I think that's before the ball enters the glove. So I would imagine this will be overturned. And it is. Still a heck of a job by Kipnis and Lindor to even make it that close.
Yeah, because Kinsler gets down the line pretty well.
What was the exit velocity on that one?
It was
about 25 miles an hour. That ball was hit in slow motion. Kipnis was probably thinking, is it ever going to get here?
Well, you have to wait back on it because, you know, you didn't want to give yourself a short hop. But actually, when you get one like that, you just basically get the one. But they made it awfully close.
1 on, 1 out. Castellanos the batter. And it's inside ball 1.
Yeah, this is the second time Armstrong has been here with the Indians. Remember where he had to go out and give him some innings that last time against the White Sox when he pitched? It was unfortunate. He pitched well, and it was a matter of numbers where they had to send him back.
Yeah. We talked about it at the time. You pitch well enough sometimes to get sent back to the minor leagues. It's just the nature of that role out of the bullpen. When you are a long man, or at least you get called to suck up innings in some of those situations.
Right. This could be another one though today. He went in that last time he pitched against Chicago. He went 2 1/3. He only allowed 1 hit, and he had 5 strikeouts.
Before the game, guys, Tito basically said what you guys said. He said he didn't deserve to be put back in Columbus. He said, but the situation played into it. He was just happy that Sean went down to Columbus, pitched well, and he said he deserves to be here.
Yeah.
Now, how long he stays?
You never know.
Today could play into that.
Well, exactly right. The same situation could be. He may be able to give him 3 innings again today, and then they may need some help for tomorrow. Oh boy, what a jump.
Foul out of play.
It was a 1-2 count. He had a tremendous jump. He took off and was running. He was halfway to second. But with 2 strikes, there's nothing you can do. So you can see that he doesn't have an eye on those base runners over there. Kinsler did that in the first inning to Kluber from second base. He got a walking lead and just kept right on going, and it was a foul ball again.
I think we have some precipitation falling suddenly.
What is it, snow? It could be.
Unless those are bugs, that looks like rain. It's too cold for bugs.
Yeah.
Castellanos awaiting the 2-2. In the air, foul, not playable. Armstrong came on here in the 4th. He walked the leadoff man. He had Kinsler to bounce into a fielder's choice. And now he's 2-2 to Castellanos. Already the 17th pitch of the inning with only 1 out. And a foul right back to the screen. Castellanos is one of those guys that seems like he's been around for quite a while. He's only 25 years old. Just turned 25 in March.
Yeah, I remember when they first called him up, and he was one of their high draft picks. And there you go. You got the strikeout there, called third.
So 2 down in the inning.
He must have been looking for the slider because he takes the express right there. Good pitch to hit, and he let it go. So he must have been guessing breaking ball.
Miguel Cabrera launched a 2-run homer to left his last time up, and his first game back from the disabled list.
Yeah, that was his 450th home run.
Against the Indians?
No, in his career. It seems like it.
It only seems like it, right?
There you go. There's against the Indians.
So 10% of his home runs have come against the Tribe.
The great Al Kaline, who is in the house tonight, has 44 as well.
Shoots one to right. Down the line, slicing. It's going to be foul and just out of play.
Well, this in the 3rd inning, he pulled the hands in beautifully and turned on that ball. And that's why you say there's no one way to pitch him, because if you leave it out over the plate, he can shoot you to right field. And you've just got to mix and match and do your best job and hope he misses it. Sometimes he's such a good hitter.
Now the 1-1 fouled right back. It seems like when the Indians have had success against Cabrera, it's when they've been able to pitch effectively in, and that means going in, maybe not for strikes, but just to make him aware, really get it in off the plate, make him back up a little bit.
It'll loosen the outside part of the plate at times. Yes, it will.
But that's why pitchers are reluctant to pitch in, because what you just saw. Because if you miss and leave it on the plate, he's got that quick reaction.
Well, you remember back in Cleveland when Kluber one time, the first pitch of the game or something, that he faced him.
Histrionics, yeah.
Then they started warning people.
Was that the Bauer? That was the Bauer game.
Bauer, that's right. That's right, it was Bauer, yeah.
Two down in the inning. The 1-2 on its way. Tapped to short. Lindor. They'll go the long way. Inning over. We have played 4 in Detroit, and the Tigers lead at 5-1. Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by Cleveland Clinic, Express Care online. Download it now for free. A cool night here in the Motor City. I guess that's probably an understatement. It's cold. It's not cool. Temperature in the 40s, and to add more misery to those in attendance, it's decided to rain at the same time. Not a soaking rain, but just enough to make it feel even colder than what it really is.
Yeah, they'll have a little coating of ice on them over their skin. They may not be able to get out of their chairs.
That's the way to keep warm, though, is to try to keep moving around. Offensively, the Indians have been shuttered by Justin Verlander since that first inning. And he helped them out on the first with the wild pitch that got them their only run.
Seems like a few more breaking balls and sliders tonight from Justin.
He's retired 6 straight and 10 of the last 11.
Well, they only have 2 hits. They came back in the first inning. It was a Santana single to get the game going, and then a 1-out single by Michael Brantley. And that has been it. He's walked a couple.
Oh, the catcher Avila had to reach back for it, but the home plate umpire still gave him the call. That's strikeout number 5 for Verlander.
Yeah, it was a good pitch, though. It looked like it was on the plate. Even though he was sitting off, he pulled it over to the down and inside. And see how far away he's sitting?
Just, we see that from time to time, and you might not get that call.
That's true. That's true when you reach back that far. But you see, he was sitting so far off the plate, the umpire had a good look at it. It's not like he was blocked out or anything.
Ground ball foul by Yan Gomes. I don't know how many times in this stretch that the Indians have beaten up on Justin Verlander where he's had a sizable lead in the middle of a game.
That's true.
Almost hit him, and I think Gomes just turned and hoped it wasn't going to hit him. That ball was bearing in on him.
That's about the only way you could get out of the way, is just turn away from it.
Breaking ball hung. You mentioned that before, that's why it's so dangerous when a pitcher, whether intentional or not, throws a pitch behind a batter, because you're taught to throw that front shoulder in, and you just naturally sort of back up.
Yeah.
So if a pitch is coming at you, that's your first inclination, is to move right back into it if it's thrown behind you.
No question. Scary. You don't see pitches behind you.
There's a liner to right field by Gomes. And the Indians have their third hit of the night. Time for a game break. And right now we're going to head out to Yankee Stadium in New York. Aaron Judge, this is one of 5 home runs hit in the game, 4 of them by New York. The 11th of the year by Aaron Judge. That's a solo shot in the third off Matt Latos. And the Yankees lead it 7-2.
So 5 homers in that game.
Talked about the home run ball. And I think Brett Gardner may have hit 2. And he's not exactly a guy you think of as being a home run hitter.
He hit 2 just a few days ago.
Yeah, he's hit 2.
When they were playing Baltimore.
Popped him up. Center field coming in is Collins. And on the first pitch, Santana flies out. 2 down. By the way, you were wondering how the high-flying Diamondbacks would do on the road against the high-powered Nationals. 2 of the best offenses in the National League, squaring off through 4. It's 4-3 Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Lamb has homered. Goldschmidt has an RBI. 4-3 Arizona. But still early in that one.
Yeah.
Tanner Roark on the hill for Washington.
That's a nice matchup for National League teams. They've been scoring a lot. Arizona playing well. And Washington's in a different world when it comes to offense. Now you see, here you go. We talk about flipping to first base. Gomes is on first base. Yan Gomes is not going to steal a base. And I don't know if he's ever stolen a base. And they're throwing to first with a 5-1 lead.
Lindor is 0 for 2 on the night, takes a pitch down low. Well, as
creatures of habit.
Well, we indicated it before. I mean, nobody has thrown to first base as many times as Justin Verlander in the last year or so.
You just got to keep the arm loose, I guess. Flip it over there a couple of times.
Since the start of last year, almost 300 throws to first for Verlander. It's just, he does like that. He does that like, people run their hand through their hair. It's just.
And that's now how many years you going back?
Just since the start of last year.
Since the start of last year, so it's about 10 times a game he throws it over there.
Lindor says thank you. A free base runner, 2 on, 2 out, and Michael Brantley coming to the plate. And if the Indians are going to get back in this thing, a quick 3-run jolt would be just the tonic.
Yeah.
Hey, ride around the warning track at Progressive Field or go 50 miles with Sandy Alomar when you bike to Cure in Velasano. Log on to velasano.org/Cleveland Indians for more details on how you can team up with the tribe. Quick meeting at the mound. Alex Avila out to talk with Verlander as Michael Brantley steps to the plate. He singled in the first, fly to left in the third. Down and in, ball one. Low, 2-0. And Verlander, 80 pitches tonight, 43 for strikes. He had retired 7 in a row before the hit by Gomes. Now the Indians need what the Tigers have had early and often tonight. That's
right.
That 2-out RBI hit. They had one
they do.
each of the first 3 innings.
Well, right now, sitting 3-0 is Michael Brantley. I'm sure he'll take it at least one.
He does take the fastball for a strike, 3-1.
He'll be looking for one more of those here.
And Brantley has the kind of patience that if he doesn't get exactly what he's looking for, he'll take it.
Yeah.
He'll take another strike if he has to.
We had a look at Encarnacion on deck.
Fouled away in a full count. Now again, something to remember. He's thrown a few sliders to strike batters out here tonight. Something he hasn't done a lot of so far this year coming into tonight.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he may come back with that slider, because 2 straight fastballs, although Brantley did foul that last one off.
He didn't shake off, so whatever Avila put down is what he wants to throw. It is a fastball.
Went
up,
inside with it.
and he fights it off.
But you see, well, you can tell if you're the pitcher, you can see the pitches by inning for Verlander. Brantley fouling off that fastball away, so he went right back with another fastball inside. That's a tough pitch to catch up to.
Brantley pops it to center. Collins making the catch. 2 stranded here in the 5th. We're halfway through, and the Tigers lead it 5-1. Victor Martinez started the scoring in the first with a base hit into right field with 2 outs. 1-0 Tigers. Then in the third, Miguel Cabrera hit a 2-run homer. Alex Avila capped the inning with a 2-out RBI single. Tigers have 3 2-out RBI hits in the game. Victor Martinez. Now in that first inning, with a runner at third and 2 outs, the Indians did not shift. They do this time. Last night they had the shift on, but Jose Ramirez was nowhere near that spot. He was more shaded. He was almost up to where the umpires stand.
Yes.
And Victor just dumped a bunt over there towards third base and got himself a base hit, and that ended up starting a rally for Detroit. Hit him on the foot. Yowza. Martinez jumping out of the way and now heading on down to first. Let's go down to Andre.
Well, before the game, I asked Tito Francona about the bunt that Victor Martinez had last night, and I said, would that change how they defended him? He says it can. He goes, but I don't let one bunt change everything that we do, but we'll change with strikes and things like that. But he says, you know what? I'll tip my hat to him. It was a good play by him, but you know what? Most of the time, him bunting for a hit is going to be more beneficial to us than him hitting the ball off the wall. There are times I get you can't cover everything, and he says by taking away his hits to right field, that's bigger than taking away a bunt. He didn't like what happened, but he tipped his hat and said it was a good baseball play by Victor last night.
Yeah, and ended up starting a rally where they scored 2 in that inning. But you know, sometimes when you do that, you just it's a change-up. You change up on the defense every once in a while. And the first time tonight, it got him a hit through the right side, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it got him in 2 hits. Really is what it did.
He's one of those hitters who's good enough to manipulate the bat to where he can find that hole and just slap it the other way, or get it through the hitting zone and pull it for a hit if he can. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Now, obviously, if it was that easy, you'd do it every single time up. Sometimes you get the right pitch timed up with the right swing. If the pitch is away, you can go away with it and pound it that way.
Right situation, too. Leading off an inning, nobody on.
Yeah.
You know, and you're saying, okay, it's no big deal because he can't run if he's on first base. Probably the slowest runner in the league. But this guy followed up after that bunt base hit with a double to put him on second and third, and that's what really set the inning up.
Swing and a miss. Armstrong strikes out Upton, 2 down. The other thing you remember about that play last night when Upton hit that double. How many players are there in the big league? 700 roughly. 699 of them score on that ball that was hit.
Oh yeah,
by Upton. But Victor only got to third. Didn't matter when Alex Avila dumped a 2-run single in. Tyler Collins has struck out both times tonight. In the air, left field, deep. Brantley back on the track. He's at the wall, and he makes the catch. And quickly fires it back in. 2 down.
Well, this was the second and third that we were just talking about that situation. Last night after they chased Bauer, he drove in 2 runs. And that was the big add-on. And today, another base hit. 2-out base hit in the 3rd inning for the 3rd run of that inning.
Yeah, he threaded the needle with that one.
And he's, I mean, he's having his way with the Indians so far this year. What was he, 7 for 10?
It's only a few games.
I know, but it's a nice stretch when you can go 7 for 10.
No, I was imitating Brad Osmus.
Yeah.
Avila pops one up, out of play. Well, one thing Avila has done for himself, I mean, this is as old as baseball. You hit, you play more. And he's certainly going to find himself in the lineup a whole lot more than maybe anyone would have imagined, at least this early in the year.
Yeah, you bring him back as a backup catcher, you know, and you don't get much playing time in a situation like that. But he's going to play against us the rest of the year, I can guarantee you that. He may not play against anybody else, but he will against us.
One. Chased a pitch up out of the strike zone. Good fastball from Armstrong. A ball and 2 strikes. Hey, let's go down to Andre real quick. He's got an update on Corey Kluber.
Yes, Matt, you were right. He did leave early, and he was removed due to low back discomfort is what the team is telling me. He left because of low back discomfort. The doctors are talking to Tito and Mickey right now as we speak.
All right, thanks, Andre.
Well, now you know why he came out after 3.
Stay tuned after the ball game for Indians Live. They'll have the very latest. 1-2 pitch, fouled back. If there's any up, there's James Quinlan, Indians head athletic trainer, talking with Terry Francona right now. And if you tune in after the ball game with Alan Jensen, who are here in Detroit with us, they'll certainly fill you in on what information comes out of the Tribe Clubhouse. Andre will be down there. 1-2. Struck him out looking. So that's 3 strikeouts for Sean Armstrong. And after 5 innings of play, it's 5-1 Detroit.
For complete details.
Justin Verlander will pitch into the 6th inning. 15 shy of the 100 mark. Encarnacion with a liner to left, but it's caught by Upton, who got a good break on the ball.
Well, coming out in that first inning, he had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and he tries to throw that slider down and in and allowed the Indians to score a run on the wild pitch. But after that, he really settled down, and it's been a lot of cutters, sliders, showing that fastball maybe out of the strike zone. But he has been a different guy this start as compared to the one he had back in April against the Indians on the 14th.
Jose Ramirez walked in the first, popped up on the infield in the 4th inning. Big curveball, and it hung a little high.
Either fly ball outs or strikeouts, but he does not have a ground ball out. That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, I was just thinking too, all 3 hits that he's allowed are line drives, so they weren't ground ball. Not like he hit, got a ground ball that got through the infield. They were all hit to the outfield.
In the air, yes.
A little bit wide of the mark, 3-1. Indians have only had their, twice out of 5, now 6 innings, twice they've had their leadoff man aboard. Both times it was Santana. And he came around and scored their only run in the first one he let off. Got on base, but makes it maybe a little easier when you get that first guy aboard to try and get something going offensively, because last night they never got on track, and same story unfolding here tonight. Look at that, 97 miles an hour, but he was in off the plate, and another walk. 4th walk issued by Verlander as we take a look at our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Travis Shaw, the former Kent State product and the son of former Indians pitcher Jeff Shaw, had a pretty good night last night for the Brew Crew.
Off to a good start over in the National League as far as driving in the runs, isn't he? That Brewers, they can score. They're second behind the Nationals in that National League when it comes to run production. And Arizona was 3rd.
Pitch up high. That throw over to first base. So he's over 300 times thrown over to first base now since the start of last year. Guess who's second? He's done 300 times. Guess who's second on that list?
Josh Tomlin.
He is. Guess how far behind he is?
150.
He's about 100. He's 191 throws over to first.
Okay.
So Verlander's not only done it the most, he's done it the most by far.
Yeah. It's just
interesting, isn't it?
Creature of habit.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Tomlin's the same thing too. He'll throw over there when guys have their foot on the base,
standing
and
on
they're
the
not,
base.
just
we've seen it.
Yeah.
Now the 1-1. That's kind of also Josh's way of saying, you're not going to pick up any pattern with me because I'll throw it over there. Even if you're standing on the base, I might throw it over there. Right now, Tigers might be inclined to get the bullpen going, even though Verlander's a workhorse and he can routinely go over 100 pitches. He went 119 his last time out. Closing in on 100 here, but he gets Kipnis to pop it up on the 2-1 pitch.
Well, I'm thinking Osmus, he's going to get Verlander maybe for another inning because he doesn't want to get to that bullpen too often.
Well, their bullpen has not pitched well, and we talked about that last night. The Tigers brought the highest pitching earned run average in Major League Baseball into this series, and the bullpen was dreadful with an ERA of over 6. And now there are 2 down. Lonnie Chisenhall 0 for 2, struck out, flied out. Indians have their bullpen busy. I think that might be Nick Goody who's getting loose. But it would appear we'll have a new pitcher in the home half of this 6th inning.
That's been the strength of the Indians, is coming out of that bullpen. They haven't given up a run in, what is it, their last 10 games. They've been spectacular. No earned runs. Covering 26 in the 3rd innings, but that doesn't include tonight. There's 2 innings tonight, so 28 in the 3rd.
Lonnie Chisenhall launches one into the alley. Right center field. Long run for Collins. They won't get it. Hits at the base of the wall. Hops over Collins' head. Scoring on the play is Ramirez. On his way to 3rd is Lonnie. And he's going to have to stop right there. They had a tough time getting that ball picked up and thrown back into the infield. But as it is, it's a 2-out RBI triple. And the Indians close the gap to 3 runs.
Well, there's their 2-out hit that they've been looking for. And it comes as a triple for Chisenhall, his first triple of the year.
Here right sounds of the game. It's a good sound.
Yeah, they ended up, it ricocheted off that wall and short hopped it. And by the time Aducci can get over there to pick it up, he slipped. And there were thoughts of maybe sending Chisenhall if they didn't get it in quickly. Now one more 2-out base hit. You got a ball game.
And Abraham Almonte taking a strike. First triple of the year for Lonnie.
You know, the first inning when he had the bases loaded, he was out of the stretch. This time he's out of the full windup. He's been in a nice groove.
You know, I'm trying to think, Rick, how many ballparks do you suppose that's a home run in where he hit that? He hit right at the bottom of the fence. It's a pretty deep
it
poke
jets
out there,
Yeah, it jets out there. And on a night like tonight, it doesn't seem like it's carrying that way. Probably a lot of ballparks. But I said this is a triples ballpark here.
Yeah. Strike called.
That's the curveball.
1-2 on Almonte, who's struck out twice already tonight.
He heads up. Hopefully he might be able to spike another one in the dirt.
Let's see if he goes to his breaking ball for a chase or
high
stays with
fastball.
the heater.
He could.
Breaking ball, and he fouls it off.
He's thrown a lot of breaking balls tonight. That's been his change.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a lot of pure changeups tonight, have we?
Not as many as we normally do. We've seen a lot of high fastballs that maybe out of the zone are showing, and then
he's only thrown 5, which that's probably about average, maybe between 5 and 10 a night, maybe.
Yeah, to the certain right guys.
Missed inside. Coming into tonight this year, he's used his changeup a little less than 10% of the time. The 2-2. And there's a good fastball. And all Almonte can do is roll it over to first to end the inning. Let the Indians get a run closer. They're down 3 after the 2-out RBI triple by Lonnie Chisenhall. The old home of the Tigers, Tiger Stadium, just down Michigan Avenue from this location. It was on this day in 1939 that those who were in Tiger Stadium watched the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played streak come to an end.
Really? 1939, my goodness.
Armstrong staying out there at least to start the inning with Nick Goody loose in the bullpen.
He's gone two innings. Is not allowed to hit. Has 3 strikeouts, hit a batter, and a walk. No, I'm sorry. Yep, his first hitter.
Now the 1-1 upstairs. Popped in the air pretty well. Center field, Chisenhall got a great break on it. Look at how far that ball carried, almost to the base of the wall in deep left center. Jim Adducci, a wild fly ball out, 1 down.
Well, and I think that ball helped him a little bit, but you can see Chisenhall going back, watch his route, took a peek, and that thing carried to the middle part of that track. Yeah. There it is. There's the quick peek to the wall. Wondering how much room I have. Sometimes you have to do that a couple of times in an outfield this size.
Yeah.
This is one of your, but you know what? It's fun to play outfield in one of these parks because you can run forever and not have to worry about it. On some days those hitters will make you run you'll be dog tired at the end of the game. In the summertime, if they're running you from gap to gap in this ballpark. There you go.
Here's another one. This one's Brantley's all the way. That one kind of came back to him.
Yeah, but you still have to run over there to back him up.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you can't be a spectator, right?
No, sir. You're on the move.
Well, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. as Terry Francona goes to the mound. Sean Armstrong trying to suck up some innings out of the bullpen.
I'll tell you what, another good job by Sean Armstrong. Just like he did the last time he pitched against the White Sox. He came out and went 2 2/3 this time. It was 2 1/3 his last time. Did not allow a hit. And he, you know what, Terry can't ask for anything better from Sean Armstrong. Another nice job.
So we got a timeout as Nick Goody will be coming on next for Cleveland. Armstrong with another nice performance coming out of the bullpen.
Yes, he did. He held it right there.
Kind of like that young man the other day for Seattle with Dylan Overton. He went 3 innings, I think, out of the bullpen for the Mariners.
Yeah, they maxed him out. What do you have, about 2/3 of an inning coming in?
So Nick Goody will make his 6th appearance of the year, and he's done a fantastic job in some, kind of less than ideal situations.
He really is. The last time he came out in that situation, bases loaded, nobody out against Seattle, he got the strikeout of Motter, who was pinch hitting, and then got the line drive double play at second base. So he got out of a bases loaded, no out jam.
I know it was only a few days ago. I forgot Dylan Overton pitched 5 innings.
Yeah, they left him in there.
Yeah,
he did. He took one for the team, man.
Yeah, I remember he kind of wore out there towards the end, but he won over a lot of his teammates, I'm sure. Well, Ian Kinsler with 2 down and the bases empty bats for Detroit. And hey, the job that Sean Armstrong did, and if Nick Goody can follow, he's at least given your offense a chance to come back in this thing. May not look all that promising with the way things have gone, but this is going to stay in play, and that's going to end the inning.
Well, there you go.
So the Tribe's bullpen has put up 3 consecutive scoreless innings. Indians down 5-2. Injury lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by the new 2017 Kia Optima. Back here in Detroit. Tribe down 3. And we're coming down the stretch here, 7th inning. Detroit has action in the bullpen with Verlander. Just over 100 pitches on the night. He's given up 2 runs, 1 in the first, and he gave up 1 last inning on the RBI triple by Lonnie Chisenhall. Yan Gomes to lead it off, then the top of the order.
Yeah, you don't see this too often. They have 2 left-handers warming up in the bullpen.
That's one of those deals where if you come out to make the move, you've got to say which lefty. You got to
tall
go,
one, short one.
Yeah. Low and away. Didn't that happen to our buddy Joe Smith one time where he thought he got the call in and he got like halfway there?
Yeah, he came out of the
waving, stop, go back.
He came out of the doors. You're right, and onto the field.
Yan Gomes shot a ball to right field for a single in the 5th inning. Takes a little high there, 2-2. Good discipline, but that's what you were saying early in the year. I mean, Yan is such a good low ball hitter. If he can develop that discipline to just, hey, I'm not going to swing at that pitch up there.
You know, sometimes you're going to chase it with 2 strikes, and that's going to be it. But boy, from early in the count, you should never. Always look down to your strength like that. He got a low pitch down there, and he drove it that way well.
Oh, nice play. Ducey had him kind of shaded over that way.
But he got that pitch that he liked to put a good swing on it.
So 1 down. Here comes Brad Ausmus. I had a feeling he might only be out to face the leadoff hitter. With the top of the order, turning it over for the 4th time. He hasn't made his wave yet, but you got to figure this is it.
That goes to show you that many teams want to face the Indians with left-handers. They want to attack the right-handed batters of this lineup.
Oh, well, looks like he's going to stay with him.
Okay. Santana has been on twice. He was going back into the dugout to get a new helmet.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to the other side of the plate. He said, oh, they left him in, and probably put the left-handed helmet back on.
Santana singled and scored in the 1st. He walked in the 3rd, fly to center on the only pitch he saw in the 5th inning. Now they go back to that dramatic shift, 3 to the right side, the diamond formation.
Yeah, you just want to
triangle formation.
Want to see him get on base here, just any way, shape or form, get on base. Because he's at the end of his tank of gas. And that bullpen is ready.
Down in the dirt, and it's 2-0.
Second or third time he's had to jump out of the way of one with that curveball down. But he's getting those guys to look down and in, down and in, down and in. And he's pitched the left-handers inside tonight, man. He gets the 2 strikes. He's not afraid to go in there and get them out. He's got a lot of outs on the inner part of the plate with 2 strikes.
You know, this is, I don't know if this is just a case where, you know, Justin Verlander is one of those guys who just happens to be blessed. But when you look at his velocity by number of pitches, it doesn't drop off. He could be over 100 pitches.
Oh,
he can still hit 96, 97.
He's always been that way. He's been that way since he was a kid coming up to the big leagues. He has some reserve in the tank. There's a nice little cutter. After he bounced 2 down in the dirt for him.
Now the 2-2. Fastball, big hop. Cabrera stayed with it. 2 down.
It's only his second ground ball out tonight, and both of them have come to first base.
And again, that fastball was 96 miles an hour, so that just, you would think that as you go along at this stage in your career, after all the innings he's logged, that yeah, at some point he's got to lose a little zip on the fastball, but it just doesn't seem to happen with him.
Freak of nature.
Yeah.
How about Nolan Ryan? Somebody like
Same
that.
way?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
He didn't ever drop off, did he?
No. He pitched for what, 25, 26 years in the big leagues. He was still grunting and throwing it up there. Lord knows how hard.
Lindor 0 for 2 tonight. 1 out of 6 now in the series. Out of play. Verlander's 2-strike pitch. Popped him up. Collins, the center fielder, makes the catch. He retires the side in order. And it's 5-2 Detroit. Stretch time in the Motor City. And we'll see if the Indians can rally potentially against the back of the bullpen for Detroit.
Yeah, well, they're down to 6 outs, so you need another 0 on the board and get that offense back in. 6 outs to go, but they could do it.
Nick Goody got the last out of the 6th. He'll stay on and pitch to the bottom of the 7th. White Sox shutting out Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium 4-0. They're in the 5th. One night after Kansas City stopped Chicago's win streak, and the one night after Kansas City stopped their 9-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're facing Quintana today.
Yankees lead Toronto 8-4 in the 7th. Boston beating Baltimore 5-2 in the 8th at Fenway. Minnesota shutting out Oakland 4-0. They're in the 5th inning at Target Field. Swerving Irvin, Santana doing it again. 1 hit allowed through 5. Sonny Gray making his season debut in that game for Oakland. Nick Goody ready with a 2-0. And he missed again. Castellanos singled to lead off the 3rd inning when Detroit scored 3 times. The 2-run homer by Cabrera and the 2-out RBI hit by Avila. Walked them on 4 straight. And that snaps a string of 6 in a row retired by the Indians bullpen. This was the inning in which Detroit pulled away. It was a 2-1 game, and that made it a 4-1 game on 1 swing of the bat. And then 4 batters later, Alex Avila had the key 2-out RBI hit that extended the lead to 5-1. And offensively, the Indians just haven't been able to get to Verlander the way they have in recent outings anyway. Swung out and missed. By the way, we were talking last inning about guys coming out of the bullpen.
Right.
Joe Smith for the Indians. It was in 2012.
Yeah.
When Manny Acta was the manager, and he went out to talk to Justin Masterson, who was the starter. And evidently there was some miscommunication because whoever was in the bullpen told Smith he was in the game. He wouldn't have just run out there on his own.
You wouldn't think so.
So he starts running in, but they never called for him. So he got about halfway there and had to stop.
I do remember that. 5 years ago?
Smitty, we'll see him at the end of this road trip. He's pitching now with the Blue Jays.
Yes.
Last year he was with the Cubs, but not active.
Oh, good pitch.
In the World Series. There's a double play. 2 quick outs is Nick Goody. It's the old 2-for-1 ball. And it will bring up Victor Martinez. Well, they had 2 lefties up in that Detroit bullpen, only 1 up now. I assume that's Wilson. He's been their kind of their go-to left-hander.
Yeah, he's been probably one of their most consistent pitchers coming out of there, but he hasn't pitched for long.
Yeah, Justin Wilson is the
10 2/3 innings in his 12 appearances.
Victor pops it up. Let's see. Ramirez gives way to Brantley. Michael makes the play, and he'll lead off the 8th inning. When we come back, Tribe down 3. Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. 8th inning here at Comerica Park, and Detroit goes to the bullpen. New pitcher is Justin Wilson. Left-hander on for the 13th time this year. A win, a loss, an ERA of 1.69 and 10 2/3. He's walked 4, struck out 17. But get this, the opponents have a batting average of .57.
I see that.
Now, Andrew Romine goes from short over to first base, and Jose Iglesias comes in the ball game now to take over at short. What that means is, should the Indians rally back and tie this game, Miguel Cabrera is now out. Michael Brantley 1 for 3 on the night. And the pitch is low, ball 1. Brantley's base hit went to right field back in the first inning. He's flied to left, flied to center since then. One ball, 2 strikes.
Nice little curveball there, followed up by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
And just missed there at 96.
Yeah, that's the teaser pitch right there, above the belt with 2 strikes. If you can lay off of that, that's golden, because you're not going to catch up to it up there.
Spun him out of there with another fastball, and now he's run the count full. Now he's missed with 2 high fastballs. Brantley just literally threw his bat at it, and it shattered. He ended up with about 4 inches of that bat in his hand. The rest of it went flying out toward the mound.
Well, Justin Verlander tonight was very good. That cutter, a lot of breaking balls inside to the left-handers. Showed the fastball up and not necessarily for strikes. And he pitched a lot of them inside with 2 strikes. And he really settled down. Now you know he feels good about it, because it's been in his head. He wants to beat this team badly. Well, he has an opportunity if the bullpen can hold on.
If it was any other pitcher, you might be concerned that he's thrown 119 and now 118 pitches in back-to-back starts, but I think he's immune to all that stuff.
He's an animal. He's a horse.
Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 3 tonight. In the top of the 3rd, he got a pitch, and it appeared, at least on the swing and the sound, it looked like he hammered it. He hit it to deep left, but it died in the middle of the warning track. Justin Upton made the catch to end that inning. And then in the bottom half of the inning, 2 batters in, Miguel Cabrera launched one to the same spot, except his was about 10 feet further and out of the park for a big home run. And what a swing of momentum that was. If Encarnacion's ball gets out of here, it's a 2-run homer for Cleveland, and maybe a different story, but that's not what happened. Back out of play. And he's out on strikes. 2 down here in the 8th.
Comes right back with a good fastball away and hits the outside corner. Excellent pitch at 97.
Jose Ramirez has walked twice tonight and scored a run. One and one to count. 21,799. The attendance announced here tonight on a chilly, raw night in Detroit. Down at his back foot, but he gets out of the way of that screaming fastball. You don't want to get a hit at this point with the temperature sitting at 45 degrees. And had a nice little dousing of rain in the middle of the game, just in case anyone got too comfortable. Just outside, 3-1. Isn't it something how, Rick, there are some games where it feels like you're up every inning as a hitter, and then there are some games where it feels like,
yeah,
what was the line? Have I hit in this game?
Yes.
Indians sent 6 men to the plate in the first inning. And that has been it as far as any kind of offense tonight. Ripped and in and out of the glove of Castellanos, and Ramirez will be aboard with a 2-out single.
You know, he laced that ball, and Castellanos almost had it. It had to stick in the glove because once it fell out, he wasn't going to throw him out. But that might have been a double down the line if he didn't get leather on it. But he hammered it, took one step, and that ball gets down. You can see the time of reaction. That ball might even hook foul. That was hit hard.
Yeah, if he hadn't touched it?
Yeah, it might have. But he gets a base hit. Man aboard.
Now Jason Kipnis is 0 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, watch. This is a great angle. You see that ball starting to hook. The umpire's going to have to get out of the way, and he was ready to call it foul, but he said, oh, wait, I'm turned around here. I better go with my left hand, not my right one. But I think it's a good thing that he touched the ball because that might have hooked foul. Just from that camera angle right there, that was a great shot.
Now, I suppose if you're standing down there at third base without the benefit of super slow-mo, you have no idea.
Yeah. That ball's on you before you know it. You're just trying to catch it. You see it hits by you, you're just going after it. He did a nice job to get leather on it. It just didn't stick in the glove.
Two balls and a strike. Rick, it's like Jason's telling himself to stay back because when he's at his best, we have seen him just wear out left and left center field. but as much as he's trying to tell himself he's out front of everything, when he's trying to really, maybe he's, I don't know.
Well, he started to use the right side of the field more last year, where he was staying back and pulling more pitches and things and not pushing everything the other way. But he's just, it's a matter of catch up, and then you take that breaking ball right there for a called third.
So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It remains 5-2 Detroit. For Indians Live right here from the Motor City. Al and Jensen will be spinning their Motown favorite hits following the ball game. Justin Upton, Tyler Collins, Alex Avila. Nick Goody has worked an inning and a third of scoreless relief. Can't say enough about how well Sean Armstrong and Nick Goody have pitched tonight, and at least given you an opportunity to stay in this game.
They've done everything. They've done a fantastic job. You can't help it. They've done exactly what they've had to do. Put zeros on the board. They've done that.
And how must it feel for those guys? And I realize Sean just got back to the big leagues. He was back in the minors for a spell. But how must it feel for those guys to know they're contributing to a bullpen that's on a 30-plus inning scoreless streak? And you know, they may not be the go-to main guys, but they're doing their job when called upon.
That's all you do. Stay in your own lane. You do your job and let everybody else do theirs. They've been great. You know, you get through. We knew if we had a short start yesterday and we didn't realize that Kluber was only going to pitch 3 today, you would think, boy, that doesn't bode well for that bullpen, you know, in a 4-game series. But they've done a nice job to piece it together.
Yeah.
And get ready for these last 2 games after tonight if they don't come back to win this one.
Zach McAllister and Dan Otero combined for 4-hit shutout innings last night. Strike 3 call. That's the first strikeout for Nick Goody. 1 down here in the 8th.
And here comes Tito. See, he says, okay, my man's done enough, and he goes back to that bullpen.
You did your job.
And, you know, and it's great because they come out with a good feeling.
Yeah.
Armstrong went his 2 2/3, and then Goody comes in. He went his,
inning and 2/3.
Inning and 2/3. And job well done. They had confidence is there. And Tito's going back out, get 2 more outs.
Now 4 1/3 no-hit innings for Armstrong and Goody. Not too shabby.
Can't do much better than that.
No, sir. Timeout. We'll be right back. tosses. Let's go down to Andre, not Dre, with Austin Jackson going on the DL. They didn't call up a position player. They called up Sean Armstrong to give Tito a little more reinforcements in the bullpen. Is that the way he would ideally like to have his roster set up?
Yes. He says the only thing that holds him up with sleep and the thing he worries about day in and day out is that he doesn't have an 8-man bullpen. He says, you know, he doesn't want to wear anybody out. And he felt like, hey, if I bring up a guy right now from the bullpen, I won't hurt our bullpen. But if you put another position player out here, so we can get through because of some of the, the versatility they have in Ramirez as well as Abe Almonte. But he says that will always be an issue for him. He says he was hoping in the offseason. You got to know there's some talk about possibly having a 26-man on the roster. He said he was pulling for it, and he has no idea why MLB won't do that. So he could have the 8-man bullpen that would help him.
Yeah, the more relievers, the better for Tito.
You know, Andre just said something that kind of it stuck with me, because I remember, I think you and I had this conversation with somebody who predated your career. It might have been Gary Bell. Tito would love, ideally, in a perfect world, he'd like to have an 8-man bullpen. Gary Bell played during the eras of the 9-man pitching staff.
Right. Yes.
Strike 3 called. 2 down. Now Gary, when he was pitching, that was 4-man rotation.
4-man rotation.
5 guys in the bullpen, maybe.
Yeah, and they would never go to him anyway. Half of them, because those guys would, pretty much start what they finished or go very deep into a ball game. But that's how the game has changed now.
Think about that.
It's a game of specialization. Pitchers coming out, some guys getting 2/3 of an inning or 1 hitter. Some guys going an inning. Some guys going a couple innings.
And you're talking about multiple guys now in the bullpen. 70 appearances a year. If you're having a good
Everybody's
year,
going anywhere between 60 and some guys almost 80. But as Tito says, he didn't want to abuse them. He doesn't want to, he knows that that's a workload if you have to rely on them all the time. So you gotta get help from a lot of different areas.
Tell you what, Boone Logan, this is as sharp as we have seen him in an Indians uniform. Nothing but strikes. That's the first ball that he's thrown since he entered the game. And remember, most of the times Boone has entered a game, it's been for one batter. It's been quick.
Yeah.
It might be sometimes a couple of pitches and he's out. But he struck out Collins quickly, got ahead of Avila with 2 quick strikes, and now back to even at 2-2. And he froze him. So Boone Logan, sharp tonight, and he combines with Nick Goody to strike out the side. Lonnie Chisenhall will try to lead an Indians comeback in the ninth when we come back. Well, Justin Verlander, he did. You have to give credit where it's due. He executed really well.
Absolutely. Execution was very good for Verlander. I agree.
And the Indians' left-handed hitting lineup has had a tough night because Verlander did his job. And you know, I've had guys tell me that before. I said, hey, don't forget the other guys get paid too. You know, we're not out here by ourselves just taking batting practice. And
the Indians now, I mean, they're looking for the 13th time of scoring 3 or fewer runs in a game. And I'm thinking it's about 9 or 10 times where it's 2 or fewer. And it'll be half. This is game number 26, so half the games they haven't been able to put enough on the board, at least enough to win. Well, let's see if they can get that leadoff man on. Good things happen. Get that first man on in the 9th when you're down. They need 2 runners to get that tying run to the plate.
breaking ball hit back toward the shortstop, Iglesias. And he throws out Lonnie, 1 down. Abraham Almonte 0 for 3 in the ball game. He has struck out twice, grounded out. It's unusual, I guess, Rick, in this day and age to have a closer that doesn't have at least a slightly above average fastball. Let's say that. But then I started thinking about this. You know, Joe Borowski, he did it. If you have the courage of your convictions, as they say, if you can throw that pitch and you throw it with that conviction, and maybe he can make it through a season still at this stage in his career.
He's been around a long time, and you know he's not afraid, and you know you're going to give it up sometimes, but it's deception for him, and he's got the good changeup to go with that fastball, but it's probably a little tougher now for him, without a doubt, when you don't have that extra zip on the ball.
Breaking ball, pulled foul.
You know, when you get to the back end of the game, everybody likes swing and miss stuff. They don't like contact, because contact sometimes when it leaves the yard, it's not good. And if you lose a couple games like that early in the year, like the Tigers have, that's probably why their bullpen's in disarray, because you don't have that one guy that's out there slamming the door.
One-two pitch, fouled off. That's funny, because when I think back to Joe Borowski's first save in Chicago, you know, balls are flying all over the place. So
who made that catch on the warning track?
Jason
Michaels.
Jason Michaels goes back on the warning track, makes
fell
the catch, fell down, hung on. You know, if he doesn't make that play, maybe the rest of the year doesn't pan out the way it did.
Yeah.
You know,
there were a lot of saves that I said, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you're right though, in that you get off to a good start, and a lot of that kind of falls into place. You don't, and now all of a sudden the doubts start to creep in.
Yeah, and I mean, when you blow a couple of saves early, then, you know, stress is put on that bullpen, and then everybody feels like they've got to do more.
Yeah, Jobo had a couple of flameouts. There were a couple.
Well, it's going to happen to everybody, but you don't want it to have early. You want, you want your confidence rolling first.
2-2 pitch in the dirt. Oh, Monte's putting up a pretty good battle here as he looks to get aboard, try to get something started here in the 9th. Jan Gomes waits on deck. Santana to follow. Boy, the Yankees putting it to Toronto 11-4 New York in the 8th inning. And now the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Now you go from 89 with that fastball to 80. It just never gets there.
Yeah, that's right. That's the arm speed there, and it was actually a good pitch. If he doesn't swing at it, it's a strike anyway. He just had enough off of it and had a good arm speed to it. He thought it was going to be harder than that.
So it's down to Yan Gomes, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Trying to keep it alive. Gomes shot one into right field for a base hit in the 5th inning, and then in the 7th, another good at bat, good approach. He hit a line drive, but it was at the right fielder, Adducey, who made the catch. One ball, one strike.
Tigers looking, if they hold on here with their last out, they will have as many wins this year against the Indians as they did all last year. And there's still 14 games remaining between these two teams.
Strike to the outside corner. And the Indians are down to their final strike. Gomes lines it right field. Get down. It is a fair ball. It'll head into the corner. Gomes on his way to second. And he'll go in standing with a 2-out double. And there's still a pulse here in the 9th. One more base runner gets the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, for Gomes, his second hit of the night. He did a nice job staying on the baseball, taking it that way. Shoots it down the line into the corner. So a 2-out double. Now we'll turn it over to the top of the lineup. There's still a pulse, as you say.
Now Santana 1 for 3 tonight. He singled and scored back in the 1st. And again, Detroit employs the 3-man shift to the right side of the infield. Castellanos has to stay near the bag with a runner at second. Although I suppose they could do what they did last night and just put him over there at short and let Gomes go to third if he wants to.
Well, I wish they would do that. Santana could bunt.
Oh, he's going to get there anyway.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Well, he'll have to stay around too.
It'll be scored a wild pitch.
Yeah, he spikes that one down, and what he did, he went to try and backhand it instead of just smother it. His body was in front of that one. He tried to reach it out in front of the plate. He could have turned his glove the other way.
Boy, as clutch as Francisco Lindor has been in the early part of this season, you just love to get him to the plate with an opportunity here in the 9th. And Santana, as patient as he can be sometimes, he might be the perfect guy to have up in front of him in this particular situation. (2-0), ball 3.
Well, you see, with the 2-0 count, and that was a pretty close pitch. But Santana doesn't have to swing at it. He's sitting in the driver's seat there with a 2-0 count. You've got, I mean, it was probably away, you know, but it's a little close. Yeah, it was off the dish. But he's not going to swing at that pitch with a 2-0 count.
And the 3-0 is over the outside corner. He brought that one back just enough to get it called.
And I think in that Detroit dugout they're saying, make him put the ball in play. Don't walk him. Even if he hits one out of the ballpark, you still have a 1-run lead.
They've seen the numbers. They don't want to see Lindor up. 3-1 pitch. And it came over the inside corner, so everything previously had been away, and then Santana's probably looking out there, and he just gave up on this pitch.
Yeah, it's a fastball in. There it was. He didn't want to hit it anyway. He's going to make him throw 3 in a row. Now does he come back with that changeup again and see if he gets Santana to chase it?
Is Santana maybe sitting on it in this at bat?
Why wouldn't you?
Here is the 3-2. Popped it up.
Got the fastball.
And will it get down? Yes, it will. They can't get over there in time with the shift on. Castellanos had a long way to go.
That was K-Rod's best bolt right there at 89.
And the fact that Santana wasn't way out in front of it.
Well, that's what you do with his fastball. If you're sitting on his changeup, you foul off his fastball. Yeah. You can't do both, and that's what helps a hitter. And enough hitters don't believe that they have enough time to foul that fastball off if they're sitting on the changeup. But you don't try and hit it once you're sitting on it, on that off-speed pitch. Coming back with the changeup. Oh, fastball away. He went changeup first.
Again, the 3-2. And again, Santana just
Bingo.
spoils it.
That's all you have to do. It sounds simple, but hitters are good enough to just flick it into the seats. But that's your game plan. You really have to believe as a hitter. You know, when you say as a pitcher's got to be convicted to throw that pitch as good as he can do it, the hitter's got to stay with his game plan if that's what he's going to do. Fastball in.
Yeah. That's what he gave up on earlier in the at-bat. And it just missed inside, and it's ball 4. And the tying run will indeed come to the plate with 2 outs in the ninth.
I'll tell you what, that's a very patient, very good at-bat by Santana. He took a pitch that's just a hair in off the plate. I mean, not by much, but boy, what a great at-bat to get that tying run to the plate with 2 outs.
You know, this game is very emblematic of what Terry Francona has continued to say about this team, its identity as it develops. He goes, these guys, it's not always pretty, but they fight to the end of every game. And here they are, still hanging around, even though they haven't done much offensively all night long. In the dirt, ball 1, and Santana just leisurely strolls into second base. So,
you know what these Tiger fans are thinking? Oh my goodness, we need this last out. They're thinking that he's going to give it up.
Well, they've seen
it.
Right,
and
right.
I mean, he did it in Cleveland one time, but he got away. They won 7-6. They scored 5 runs in that inning. Grand slam hit off him by Chisenhall. Oh, for a long one here.
Upstairs 2-0. Well, one thing's painfully obvious. He can't throw his fastball for strikes, but he doesn't seem to want to throw his changeup because I think he believes that the hitters are sitting on it. They're waiting for it.
Well, he better get this guy.
Michael Brantley waiting on deck. He's 2-0 to Lindor. And he just barely caught the inside corner with that fastball.
Frankie wasn't looking for. I think Frankie was looking for a changeup. Watch him. He's really coiling up and just waiting. So he gives him. He spits on that one. It's a good pitch. Good pitch. Well located inside. Can he do it again?
Chased it in the dirt. 2-2.
Now this is the one he was able to get him to chase after that good fastball in. Change up down. It was a ball, but he got him to swing.
A game that really has been devoid of drama most of the night. But here in the ninth, the Indians trying to make it interesting. 2 on, 2 out. And the 2-2 pitch. Popped him up. Third base, Castellanos. And the Tigers hold on to win it. They've taken the first 2 in the series, and they've won 4 of 5 overall this year from Cleveland. And the Tigers go to 14-12, and the Indians fall to 14-12. Verlander, the winner. Justin is now 2-2 on the year. And Corey Kluber, the loss. He goes to 3-2 on the season. So, as I said, it was a kind of a one-sided game